International days are occasions to educate the public on issues of concern, to mobilize political will and resources to address global problems, and to celebrate and reinforce achievement of humanity. The existence of international days predates the establishment of the United Nations. On this day, the UN is observing the World Youth Skills Day. Skill development is a critical part of preparing for work in the future, even for jobs that do not yet exist.
My name is ACNNTV Elizabeth, the creative director for Lisby Clothing. We sew bridals, ready-to-wear, male clothes, female clothes.
My name is Victoria Jonathan, the CEO of Vis Catering and Bridal Link, also the CEO of Rich Bridals and Events Management.
My name is Chibuzo Obiyo. I'm a mechanic by professional.
My name is Aki Aluko. I run a company, Gala Technology Limited. We are into ICT training. We train on desktop publishing, system maintenance, system installations, and maintenance.
The aim of World Youth Skills Day is to encourage youth to celebrate the value of acquiring skills like building, making, and creating as a way to achieve personal success and fulfillment. However, due to increasing unemployment and inequality in our society, these skilled young individuals are left behind.
Skills acquisition, skills training, skills development for youths. Because once you have something you can fall back on, then you are engaged for life. Doling out money is not a solution to youth development or youth engagement. So we should be able to identify their talents, their crafts, and where such is lacking, we should be able to have centers to get these youths to acquire knowledge, acquire skills, to engage them in lifelong pursuits for their own good and for the good of the society.
I strongly advocate that government should revisit our schools, because one of the key things that one should take out of education is the fact that education helps you to overcome poverty. And for you to overcome poverty, as a young graduate, you should come out of school with two key things, either employability skill or entrepreneurial skill. So when you have that entrepreneurial skill, that means you have a skill. What is even skill? You being an expert in a particular area that you've chosen. What is it that you are actually tilting to be able to do? It can even be within the workspace where you are working for someone, or probably where you've chosen to actually be on your own as an entrepreneur. If government can help us to revisit the school curriculum, that will actually help, to put into fresh perspective of what students expect to come out of school with. Because most graduates that we see today come out of school with no employability skill, no entrepreneurial skill, and then you are complaining about jobs. And then even when you are telling us to go pick up an entrepreneurial skills, to go into, because those requisite skills that would require in terms of maybe marketing skills, in terms of communication skills, are all lacking. So if government can really revisit, what we come out of school with, that is the first step in the right direction. Then continuous capacity building of young persons. I know that I'm aware that a lot of centers exist where young people are supposed to go, build more on the skills that maybe they've chosen to earn livelihood through. Some of those places are not actually functional. So if governments can help, in seeing and ensuring that these places become more functional and young people become more aware of their existence, that will actually help a lot of people to pick up skills and see how, they can continue to build on those skills.
Young, talented engineers, computer engineer guys, that no matter the problem of your system, they can solve it. They gathered somewhere in Zone 3 sometimes ago. But government came, scattered them, and demolished the place. All in the name of building a modern market. But if you go to that place down, it is bush that occupied the place. And I want to tell you, that singular act have rendered so many people useless. Those that have something doing before in that place has nothing to do again, because they can't avoid to rent a big place where they can practice. And the apprentices, those young guys that they were training them, were returned back to the streets. I think government should create a place called Computer Village, let people come, allocate a portion of land to all those engineers, and move youth to them. The government policy should be encouraging.
If you train somebody to be a carpenter, and at the end of the day, the person qualifies and can't even buy a tool to start doing the work, then you haven't. So I will advise the government to look at follow through. It's known as following through. Put them through skills acquisition centers, and at the end of the day, continue monitoring how they are doing. If you don't, they will just fall by the wayside again. And that is why when I see governments buying Okada, buying this thing for, you're not giving them skills to survive because when they ride these things without even safety measures and break their limbs and all that, you've incapacitated them already. But if you train them to acquire skills and then start something and then provide that enabling environment.
The importance of developing skilled youth is at the core of this year's message for World Youth Skills Day, with the theme, Skills for a Resilient Youth.
You should be able to know what they can do. Let me say this, every parent should be able to know what his or her child can do. There are people who are good with their fingers or good with their voice or whatever. If you know what is inherent in you, it can be sharpened. Or you should be able to know what your child or what a youth likes to do. There are some youths who like baking or who like knitting or whatever. You can develop along that line without necessarily waiting for government paid job.
Search yourself, your innermost mind. What is that thing you love doing unconsciously? If you come to me and you ask me that you want to learn a skill but you don't know which one to do, I will ask you what are the things you love doing. From there, I'll be able to pinpoint how to develop your interests. Because if you are somebody that probably you like drawing, basically there are so many wild avenues for people that draws. You can be a fashion illustrator. You can be an artist just by drawing. Even some musicians, maybe for all these, their label, they require graphic artists and stuff like that. So it is whatever you love doing that would determine the skill you have to learn.
I learned mechanic because I like to work mechanical work. So all the time, even though when they go my school, so I will always visit where they do mechanical work. So and it's not become a part of my life. So when I grew up, I told my father that I will go and learn mechanical work. So okay, no, it's no problem.
Knowing the situation of the country, the way things are, and as a graduate, I said, okay, I don't want to be like others that hunt for white-collar jobs. I decided on my own to learn something and just make a difference in my generation.
If I had not acquired a skill, I don't know what I'll be doing right now. I happen to grab the passion for skill at a very, let me say, earlier stage, even though I was discouraged. Because I remember back then when I was still waiting for admission and I told my pops I wanted to go and learn tailoring. He was like, all your mates are in school, I tell you won't go learn. So the thing kind of affected me, like, I want to do this thing, but he didn't agree to it. So what I did was, so during the week I'm there learning, and by weekend I'm at home. And I can say it's been a blessing, because nowadays that there's no work and some people are just staying at home, nothing to do. I find joy in doing what I do. In fact, I'm proud that I learned it at the right time. So I do encourage people to get a skill. It's something that can never go away from your hand. Once you have it for life.
Now that the school is on lockdown, what are you doing? What are you doing to help your child, to help that boy, to help that girl that is at home? Now that the world is going on information technology, it is an avenue. Get them equipped.
To raise awareness regarding such a significant problem, the United Nations designated July 15th as World Youth Skills Day. This day helps highlight the current rising unemployment among youth and what steps need to be taken so that the situation is controlled globally.
Where you have the government not providing the enabling environment is a challenge to whoever has acquired a skill, especially when it comes to power. You know, in this country we have power deficit, and there are lots of people who, instead of going for white-collar jobs, are picking up little things to do. Like, if you go to hairdressing salons, go to crafts, shoe making, handbag making, even bead making. These are all people identifying their either natural talents or acquired skills. But if you don't have that enabling environment, especially with regard to power, they get frustrated. So the government has a role to play so that people don't just focus on white-collar jobs.
As a young person out of school, being in a country where unemployment rate is so high, and then of course the ease of doing business is not that easy, it's quite challenging to actually say you want to run business in Nigeria. But just as this year's World Skill Day spoke about skills for youth resilience, so I think it's important that as a young person that we should learn how to build resilience first, because it's that resilience that helps you to reinforce, your business strategies as regards to how you will be able to survive within the difficult business terrain of Nigeria. Because if you look at the business settings within the country here, we have power issues, we have access to road issues, we have issues that has to do with market. So these are like major challenges that we face in the area of we have chosen to do business in, which is the agricultural sector. So I would say that as a young person trying to thrive within the agricultural sector to push around the agripreneurship, it's been quite challenging because the ease of doing business in Nigeria has not really helped in so many ways.
A whole lot of challenges, and I tell people, if you are going into this system, don't think you will meet challenge. Definitely you will meet challenge, but your persistence will make you stand up strong. In the cost of me establishing my own, it hasn't really been easy, I must confess to you. I've really met a series of challenges like getting clients, finances. Capital is one of the greatest challenge. Then we still have this power supply, again one of the greatest challenge. One thing the government really needs to do is to make the environment, our country, a better place for the youth, because sincerely the youth are really out there. You see a lot of vagabonds out there, people doing things that they are not really ought to do, but because they have no choice, you see them doing a lot of things. If the government can even help, even in the midst of power supply, I think it will go a long way. You just imagine them working instead of using the mixer to work. We are using hand to mix, which is not really easy. Sometimes if you think of how will you start using your hand to do the mixing, you get discouraged. But wherever there is power supply and you have your fridge to even store your product, I don't think you have problems. So if the government can really help us in terms of power supply, it will go a long way. We don't really bother of their white collar job, but if they can just make that power supply steady for us, I think it will go a long way for this country.
Challenge we have here also, because of don't have a place to stay to do our professional work, so we always sit on sun like this. We need government support financially, land also. So if government can provide all those things for us, give us a place where we stay and do this our work, we'll be happy.
Youth are 3 times more likely to stay unemployed despite possessing developed skills causing it to become one of the most crucial issues faced by societies across the world. UNESCO states that one reason for youth unemployment, which affects all regions across the world, is a mismatch between skills workers can offer and skills which are in demand.
The COVID experience is also letting people know they can go into all sorts. Without this COVID, people wouldn't have realized that they can focus on mask preparation and marketing, or even other areas too. That people are now doing online teaching, online marketing, and all that because of technology. So these are areas that the youths should also look at, but they need to be guided. That is just the point. Youths need to be guided, and that is where that ministry is really very, very essential, to be able to capture the youths we have in the country, know where they are, know what they are doing, and know what they can do, so that the issue of missing education from school does not limit them to acquiring something that is inherent in them, or they can even get through training. The youths must draw back a bit, ask a few questions. What can I do for myself? How can I be helped? Without these basic questions, if you think you can continue floating, you will not succeed. Because every youth with energy, youths are associated with energy, and the energy must be tapped in the right direction. If you don't tap energy in the right direction, energy goes to the negative direction and causes problem for the society. So government and institutions, private sector, public sector, should be able to identify youth and help. Unfortunately, COVID-19, I keep referring to COVID-19 because it is really giving us a lot of global humanity lessons, that there must be cooperation. You must identify who is your neighbor. You must identify people to help, irrespective of color, gender, religion, whatever. That is what a lesson COVID is teaching us. And then that you can't survive alone. And if you don't help Mr. A or Miss B, it will fall back on you, and then the society at large will be a serious crisis.
The UN designated day seeks to generate greater awareness and discussions on the importance of technical, vocational education and training, and the development of other skills relevant to both local and global economies. It is hoped that it will contribute to reducing unemployment and underemployment among the youth across the globe.
I think one of the key things that stood out was the passion to actually earn a living without being so much dependent on government. That passion is what actually helped me to strategize around the ideas that drives me. And in trying to see how I practice, learn on daily basis around this passion, it helped me to become more perfect, within the business terrain that I've chosen.
Look for a skill to acquire. It's not something that is difficult, and being your own boss, I think, is interesting to me, because you wake up when you want to wake up, you go to bed when you want to go to bed. You don't have anybody that is bossing you around or ordering you around. I believe that is the best thing. To me, you can look for anything to do. We have the hairdressing out there, we have the catering out there, which is a very sustainable field to be. And another thing again, people think that a lot of people are in the system already. Why should I go in the system? I don't have any cost to go into that. No, the market is very large that can accommodate everybody.
So many youth now are lazy. But when you have a skill, like this kind of mechanical work, you go far. And any state you go, you find yourself respect, and people will respect you that you are a mechanic. Youth not supposed to be lazy. If you seek all these problems, you have bandit, terrorism, because they don't have handwork. So many handwork youth can learn. You can learn building, medicine, anything at all you can put yourself into. Let them find themselves engaged one thing or another so that our country will be better.
It's not about what you read in school. It is about, the Bible even said, I will bless the work of your hands. Then what is that thing you have in your hands that you want to present to God to bless? It is the skill that you acquire. Skill is the way to go. And if I may say, skill in ICT will go a long way. We've been doing it for years. We start as little and as low as a computer. I could remember when we started Gala Technology in Abuja, we had nothing, but we have passion to start.
Rising youth unemployment is one of the most significant problems facing economies and societies into this world for developed and developing countries alike.
Youths must wake up to identify all these areas. If you sit back and you are not seeing these opportunities, then in a way you are denying yourself of something that you can benefit from. And that is why the internet is very important these days. And virtually every youth have phones now, in fact Android phones, and they can see what is happening and they can team up. Their mentorship is very important. And not our churches, our religious groups should also be able to encourage their members to look out for opportunities and for people who can mentor them to be able to get into one skill or the other, so as to have something doing. Because you must engage yourself in something. Even those of us who are retired, I retired about 13 years ago, but I'm still busy back in the village doing farming, just to keep busy and to encourage people to also come into that. But back home, I must tell you this, it's worrisome for me because I've tried to get the youths to show some interest in the integrated farming I'm doing. But most of them are not ready because they want to either ride Okada, make 1,500 naira a day, and then go and start doing Niger bet or Naira bet or football betting, and then to be able to become millionaires overnight. So that mindset is another area that is it's a form of hindrance for youth development, because quick fix attitude of youth these days is a big problem, and that must be addressed. Quick fix attitude. There's no patience to learn a trade, no patience to be with somebody for apprenticeship, no patience to sit down and listen to mentors. No, they're so much in a hurry, and they will tell you, you spent how many years secondary school, how many years university, and now you don't have a job. And then why do you want me to go through all that when I can just go into a pool house or betting house and I can make my own millions? I can do Yahoo or do, when they read like this guy now that has been captured in Dubai, this Hush Puppy or whatever. And these guys are all in the internet, displaying exotic cars, displaying all that. And youths see all these and then they said, for this man, that boy, that other guy, the one Mr. Woodbury or what, he's just 29, and then flashing his Lamborghini and all that. And then these youths will say, why do I have to go through all this when I can just do one or two Yahoo business and become very rich? But these things have a short lifespan. So mindset must also be addressed. Be patient. You need to listen to those who've been through this life before you and know that there is no substitute for hard work. There is no substitute for hard work. And every individual, God has given every individual one talent or the other. You must discover this talent and you must improve on it. When you improve on it, you see that you're able to have something to do for yourself and for the society at large.
I want to advise our youth that you can actually start from nowhere. The number one thing you need to know is determination. And to decide, what do I really want? Do I want to end up the way my parents end up? Do I want to end up with the way my uncle, my people around me end up? That must be that point at which you determine how do you want your future to be. Then forget about, I don't have the money, I don't have somebody to back me up, I don't have who will take me there. You can take yourself there. There's nothing you can't do. There's nothing impossible. If what you are doing today does not guarantee future for you, it is not worth doing.
If your parents have been able to help you to go through the walls of school, that means they've given you enough choice to actually earn a living for yourself going forward. So if you are in school today, I think right before you come out of school, what should be at the back of your mind should be, what are you coming out of school for? Are you coming out of school because you just want to answer a graduate? Are you coming out of school because you want to now begin to develop on a particular career which you have chosen? A whole lot of opportunities are out there. But then again, can you be able to develop your skills around those career paths? Which of course those choices are yours to make. So in coming out of school, you should be able to see that you are ensuring that either you are coming out with an employability skill or an entrepreneurial skill. Gone are those days that you will say, it's until I come out from school and then I must have served, then I'll begin to learn a skill. No. Right there within those school walls, begin to develop on a particular skill that will aid you into overcoming poverty. Passion is one thing that stands out. You need to have passion for what you've chosen to do. And if you have passion for something, you will see yourself, having diverse ways of approaching on how to make that particular thing perfect for you.
This is the time we parents and others should be able to really continue to guide them. You don't run away from them because of their current attitude. Continue talking and letting them know areas that they can really be assisted. And assist them. As you assist them, you also equip them. So youths must convince themselves to be focused. Because without being focused, you can't go anywhere. There must be direction, there must be a purpose. You have the talent, it's either natural or you've acquired it. You have the energy. And the energy is that capacity to do work. There's no way you can have energy and you won't tap it. But is it going the positive direction or negative direction? And that is where youths must be guided so that that energy that they have, because that's what youthfulness is about. Bubbling with energy, and that energy must be focused in the proper direction. And that proper direction is doing work, gainful work, that will not only touch you as a person, but touch the wider society.
Technology and Future of Jobs shows that since 2017, there has been an upward trend in the number of youth not in employment, education, or training. The United Nations, at its General Assembly in November 2014, declared 15th July as World Youth Skills Day. What Skills is proud to be part of a global recognition and promotion of skills as it advises youth all over the world to embrace education and skills.